The date is Friday, March 27th, and you're listening to Entertain This, a thought-provoking podcast encapsulating all things entertainment. On today's episode, we discuss a game a lot of people are playing right now, Animal Crossing. We will talk about its older iterations and what brought it to what it's become today. There are also a couple of mentions of COVID-19 in this episode, so here's a quick trigger warning. I know some people are really being affected by this and will forever be affected by it in the future. If you're one of those people, this may be an episode to skip. Due to the ongoing pandemic, we had to record this over a video meeting application, so some things this week may sound a bit weird. Please stick with us as we adjust to this new setup. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of Quarantine This, the show all about washing your hands, not touching your face, and staying the fuck home. I'm Alex.
This. I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick.
Hey guys, the coronavirus is happening, so guess what we have to do?
Quarantine
this over the internet.
We have to record the podcast from our separate houses, trying to flatten that curve.
Hashtag
flatten that curve. But hey, it's not all bad, because while we're stuck inside, there's a thing or two that we can do to keep ourselves entertained, such as getting on the internet and hanging out with our friends and doing a podcast.
Yep.
And we have a little special guest this week, too.
Who is that?
That would be my lovely girlfriend. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Chloe. Thank you for the addition of little in front of my name. Appreciated that.
That's my bad.
It's going to get you in trouble.
She's famously short, if anyone's wondering.
Shut up about
Okay,
it.
well,
short.
you brought it up, so.
I wouldn't call it that.
No, you did.
She's here this week to talk about something that is kind of super relevant right now. It's a very hot topic in the entertainment world, and it's a game that released last Friday.
I'm here to talk about Animal Crossing.
That is the Animal Crossing theme song.
Yep.
I don't think it is. So this is one of those topics that I know nothing about, once again, but I'm looking to be entertained and educated in some ways, so.
Oh, you will be.
I hope so.
Michael, I know that you got the game because you've been playing with Chloe and I.
A little bit.
Have you played before that?
I rented it from Blockbuster.
Wow.
Awesome.
On the GameCube when it originally came out.
Okay.
I rented it for a week, played it for all of an hour, couldn't figure out what to do, and so I stopped playing it in favor of Super Mario Sunshine.
Sure.
That's totally fair.
Solid
But
choice.
that does put us in the perfect situation where I know way too much about it, and Chloe knows more than I do. Michael, you know a little bit about it, and
Just a wee bit.
knows absolutely nothing. So here we are again.
As per
Entertain
the
that.
usual. So why is it called Animal Crossing to begin with, anyway?
Alex, would you like to touch on that?
So it's called Animal Crossing. I think it's a reference to the Animal Crossing signs that you see, like on the road.
Yeah,
I
deer
think that's what
Xing,
it's referring
right?
to. Yeah, that kind of a thing. And the main reason that it's called Animal Crossing, well, that wasn't its original Japanese name, but I'm not getting into that. Because your neighbors are animals, and you build a community with these animals. But this isn't my episode. We invited Chloe on the show for a reason. She knows way
Continue
more than I
talking
do.
about it.
So I'm giving the
All right,
reins
well-
directly to her.
Sure, but Animal Crossing is just a name that you can kind of interpret as you will. So let's just break it down, shall we? Animal Crossing is a social simulation video game where you are a human who moves into a town filled with anthropomorphic animal villagers. You can befriend these villagers, and you can do them favors, you can fish, you can hunt bugs, you can collect fossils for the museum that you get, you can grow fruit and flowers, you can collect and design clothes, you can learn how to emote, and you can unlock other features as the game progresses. There is a bit of conflict about like what kind of person you are, because no spoilers, but in the new game there is an item that is a anatomically correct human skeleton, and if you stand next to it you're kind of like, what am I? Because you're not a person and you live in a town with a bunch of anthropomorphic animals, And there are some furniture items like a hamster in a cage or a bird in a cage, but there are hamster villagers and bird villagers. So, you know,
You're
what's
already
that?
freaking me out.
I got
Point
the
they
anatomic.
the fourth wall. That's what I.
Yes.
I got the
Yeah.
anatomically correct skeleton on the first day from a balloon, or first or second day from a balloon, and immediately had that thought of, what's going on here?
I've seen
What am I?
I've seen a video of there's a hamster villager, and you can put the hamster cage outside, and the hamster villager's like walking past it, having a nice day, and then it looks down, and then its eyes just get really wide, and it gets really frustrated, and then walks away. Like, if that's a hamster, what the fuck am I?
Yeah,
so never
that's
explained.
complicated.
Then it's more of an open question in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's too cute to worry about things like that.
no, but you still think about it. It's still in the back of your head, right?
Yeah, for
A
sure,
little
for
bit,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't until right now, but now, yeah, it's gonna be. For me, it's
Play the game. Congratulations, you just thought of the game, and you lost it for that matter.
great. You just made everyone who listens to our podcast lose the game. Very well done.
It's existential dread. It's always there.
Yikes. So I'm just going to kind of start from the beginning of the game, because the first iteration was actually for the Nintendo 64. It was released in 2001, and then it was remastered for the GameCube, which is what most people played it on. It's what Michael played it on. The game begins with you on a train, and you're in like a first-person perspective, and this blue cat named Rover comes up and asks you a series of questions, like why you're moving and what the name of the town you're heading to is called. And these questions determine what you look like, because when the train ride ends, you get off the train and it switches to like a third-person, top-down perspective, and you arrive in the town that you have named yourself. You're given a house to live in, but then you are forcibly put into debt to a tanuki raccoon named Tom Nook.
The capitalist
He's like, here's
king.
this house. Now give me all your bells. Bells are the currency in the game. So once you get your house, he's like, you could pay off this loan by maybe working for me. So he gives you a little uniform, and you learn how to make bells by like doing favors for villagers or going and collecting fish or shells and selling them to him. This game is unique in that it is set in real time. So shops and weather respond accordingly. There are holidays. If you boot it up at 7 p.m., you'll see a sunset. So, the game kind of forces you to be patient with stuff. Obviously, on systems, you can time travel and not be patient, but it tries to make you wait for things. If you pay off your home loan, you have to wait for the next day for your home to upgrade, things like that.
Yeah, this is almost similar to like one of those, I'm not going to mention any names here, but there's certain applications you can get on your phone that are farming simulators. Is that kind of what they're trying to do here? Like, here's some wheat, you can grow it in 5 minutes, or you can pay real money and grow it in a day, right? Or a couple seconds.
Yeah. If you were to immediately do something in Animal Crossing, you would be like going into your settings on your console and switching it. There's not really an option to like force their hand. It makes you wait unless you make your console switch the actual time.
The old
From
iPhone
what I
hack.
understand about it, it's more or less like a game that it's not meant to have a winner. It's meant to be an experience. So unlike those apps where you're like farming and stuff, and your ultimate goal is to like build this giant farm and then eventually get bored and delete the app after giving them hundreds of dollars.
That's right.
In this game, you're meant to take those small steps, and the characters in the game are there to help you understand the importance and to understand the virtue in working for all of these things and earning them. They're there to celebrate with you from the moment you set up your tent to the minute that you open up Town Hall.
Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like Sims in that way, with more interaction between players, right? As I understand.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that kind of sets the stage for me. I was expecting this to be some kind of cutesy little game you play, and there's not a whole lot of social interaction for that aspect of it.
In the GameCube version, there wasn't. Like, you can only talk to your villagers, but as games became able to access Wi-Fi,
The internets.
I think the very first one was Wild World, which is the next game in the series. That's the first time you can go visit your friends and play locally and visit their towns. So, and in the new game especially, we'll get to that, you can visit people constantly and you can send them letters, and the social interaction is very amped up.
The weird thing is, the point of the game, it now has developed into kind of a social thing, but originally it was meant to be just you. And these connections that you form with these animals, these NPC villagers. And that's still very much present in the new game. But I think definitely in the older game, it was like, anytime that anything happened to these villagers, if they asked you for your help, if they were having a bad day, if you were having a bad day, it was weirdly comforting to go see one of your neighbors in the game. And to have them
until they
talk
tell
to
you that you look like shit.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, turn that
Especially if
frown
you have a
upside
sassy
down.
villager.
It's really cool.
Villagers in the original game were very mean sometimes. They would just be like, hey, you look terrible today. Like, what is that shirt? Or if you didn't log on for a few days, they'd be like, who even are you? I don't recognize you because you weren't here.
Do they do that in the new game too? They kind of...
I've had a couple villagers be pretty sassy to me.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I have a job and a life.
I can't play this all the time, my dude. So the next game in the series, like I said, was Wild World. It came out for the DS in 2005. It was the first iteration with Wi-Fi capabilities.
That was the first one that I had as well. The very first time I experienced Animal Crossing was on the DS.
It wasn't that far removed from the GameCube version. It wasn't very different.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of like different features or anything. But the next one was in 2008. It was City Folk for the Wii, and it got kind of a huge overhaul. It utilized the Wii controls and the speech capabilities on the Wii in multiplayer, and the main difference is a city that players could visit with special characters like Gracie the giraffe, who helps you design clothes, or Red the fox, which is actually a kitsune according to the wiki, and we can't even unpack that right now.
No, go into
the
it.
The fact that he's a kitsune.
Go into it.
What is this?
Well, that means that he could like be a person.
Hold up.
Like you.
What? What?
On the Animal Crossing wiki, it says that Red, who is like an arts dealer, is a kitsune.
What?
He's also a scam artist, which I think is pretty metaphorical.
Well, that's
so he makes
rude.
He makes
counterfeit.
He makes counterfeit art.
There it
That's the
is.
word.
He makes counterfeit art, but he always sells one piece of real art.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a
You
counterfeit.
have to figure out what the real one is.
He is a counterfeit animal. He's not really an animal. He's a human. He is a representation of the thing that he is.
What?
And I think
shook.
I think it's nuts.
So that's what that
Yeah,
word
so that's
was?
Red.
The kitsune?
Kitsune.
Kitsune is the Japanese mythological creature.
For
It's a
human.
magical fox
No?
that turns into a human.
Oh.
Or can like be halfway, like can be part fox, part human, or full fox, or full human.
Mm.
But in the game, you only ever see him as a fox.
So like I said, we can't unpack all of that.
We just kind of did, I guess. I don't know.
We unpacked a lot of it.
We unpacked.
And in City Folk, there was an option that you could transfer your Wild World character into City Folk if you wanted to, or you could just start over from new.
So Wild World is like single player, right? And then City Folk is like multiplayer, for lack of a better term, right?
You can absolutely do multiplayer.
But it doesn't have to be within the city?
The city's just a place that you can go to do like shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it's just like a separate location.
It's mostly a single player game. Up until the new one. The new one was the one that kind of was like, get your friends here now. But up until then, it was mostly exactly one player, and that was the point. And I'd say it still is. But
it still can be, if
I'm
that's how you
glad
want to
that
play it.
There's a huge multiplayer aspect now.
Yeah. So next after Wild World was New Leaf, which I've played, Alex has played. Yep. I don't know if anybody else has played it.
No, but I watched a very lengthy playthrough on YouTube.
Fantastic.
There you go. That kind of counts.
That came out in 2012. So that was
Who did the playthrough?
Chugga Conroy.
Oh, Chugga Conroy.
I know, that's a name, isn't it?
It has been so long since I watched a Chugga Conroy video. He was the one who introduced me to the first Super Mario Galaxy. He played it as Luigi, and I watched every episode.
I've actually watched his New Leaf playthrough as well.
It's so
Very
good.
Cool. Hey, guys.
He's so cute.
Go watch Chugga Conroy after you listen to this podcast.
Little plug for you.
Also, support local businesses.
So New Leaf was the first time that I was exposed to Animal Crossing. My friend Katie got me into it. And the biggest difference with New Leaf is when you move into the town, you are greeted by a delightful yellow dog named Isabel, who is the town secretary, and she tells you that you are the mayor of the town that you've moved into. You don't get a choice. You just become the mayor.
Damn.
And you later figure out that it is because the previous mayor in the games, which is a turtle named Tortimer, has retired to a peaceful island life. So they don't have a mayor, so you have to do it.
Yeah.
And
You want the
Tortimer
job
is a
done, you gotta do it
callback,
yourself.
isn't he?
He's the mayor in all the previous games.
That's funny.
So he retires to a peaceful island life.
That's right.
Oh boy.
We'll get to that. In New Leaf, up to that point, it introduced the most realistic flora and fauna that had been so far seen in the game. Mostly it had been a little pixelated, a little cartoony, but New Leaf really strived to make it look like real fish, real plants, real fossils. You can donate dinosaur fossils to the museum. I don't know if I'd previously mentioned that.
And you build like full-on dinosaur displays too, right?
Oh, yeah. The museum got really cool in New Leaf and continued to be awesome in New Horizons. The town was a lot more customizable in New Leaf, too, since you were the mayor. You choose between 4 different town layouts when you first boot it up, and then you choose where new buildings and public works projects like bridges and fountains go. A lot of new buildings were introduced, like retail, which is a recycling center run by 2 married alpacas named Reese and Cyrus. Adorable. The Roost was separated from the museum. It's a coffee cafe run by an owl named Brewster. There's Kicks, a shoe shop, and a main street where they have the Nook shop, the museum, the Able Sisters, the salon, the post office, the real estate, Club 101, and Katrina's, the garden shop, Dream Suite. Like, everything is on this main street. So it took that aspect of city folk and brought it like directly into your town in New Leaf. So everything was like super accessible.
While we have a short second, can I just say I can assign each and every one of us an Animal Crossing main character?
I sure wish you would.
Is this like
I was
a
thinking
spirit
about it
animal
as you
type
were
of thing?
speaking. I'm obviously KK Slider, just because I'm selfish and I want to be.
And you have the eyebrows.
And I have the eyebrows for it. Michael, I would say that you're the male alpaca.
I'm totally down for that.
Cyrus is so cute.
Cyrus is very cool, very in love with his wife, and he works in her resale shop to help the player customize and build furniture.
Yeah, that pretty much sounds like me.
Yeah, he's very cool and very you. And Nick, you're Tom Nook, I believe.
I'm Tom who? Hanks?
Exactly.
Tom Hanks?
Yeah, you're Tom Hanks. No,
Okay,
you're
I'll
Tom
take that.
Nook. Tom Nook is the capitalist king of the Animal Crossing world, the one that you owe money to almost the entire time. But he's there to help.
What
He's
the
there
heck,
to
you
teach
guys?
you and to bring you in, and he's smarter than everyone and knows way more than everybody else, and that's you.
Nope. Strong
And
disagree.
Chloe, you're of
Question.
course. Go ahead.
Is Tom Nook Andrew Ryan?
Oh, well, shit. Here we go.
I don't. No, he is
Does
not.
he have an underwater city somewhere? That's what we have to know.
I would say Tom Nook is the opposite character development of Andrew Ryan.
Yeah,
Because he's actually
very
The reason I
alive,
say
right?
that is because as the games go on, he goes from being this like capitalist raccoon who's trying to take over everything to being like, oh, people don't like this. Maybe I should just help these people. I'm gonna make an island and be a good guy. Like, he has a very distinct character development where he steps away from being the capitalist king of the world.
I was gonna say he's very nice in this new game.
There you go.
He is.
But Chloe, you are of course Isabel, because
Of
Isabel
course.
is Leslie
Sure.
Knope and you're Leslie Knope. So if A is B, then A is C. You know.
I could not have a higher compliment bestowed upon me. Truly.
For those of you who don't watch Parks and Rec, watch Parks and Rec and then play Animal Crossing, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I was just watching that show. That's funny. Yeah.
It's so good. Anyway, back to the game. I would love to segue into the fact that the villagers in Animal Crossing kind of have their own little language that's referred to as Animalese. Don't do it yet.
Oh, I already did it. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
New Leaf introduced a new feature where usually the different pitches of the villagers were just determined by whether they were male or female. But in the new in New Leaf, they all have unique personalities like jock, sporty, peppy, normal, and they all had separate pitches to their voices. Alex, I would love for you to do your little example of Animalese for us now.
Yeah,
that's pretty much exactly what it's
exactly
it. That's it.
That's funny.
That's how they sound.
That's how they get out
My
of hiring
voice-
voice actors.
My voice in Animalese sounds like this. In case you were wondering, if I were a voice actor in Animal Crossing, it would sound like that.
Yeah.
Very good.
I feel like
And
mine
maybe
would
someday
sound
it
like
will be.
the Wilbur, the dodo.
Do it. Just make noises.
Yeah, you're so right.
Do the. Try it. That was awesome. Very well done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think that Michael would actually be Wilbur if you were an NPC.
Oh yeah, I love calling my friends shoelace stovetop.
Code names are a
Oh
must.
god, he's so good. He's so
I know.
Who's Wilbur
So
again?
good. He is one of the dodos that runs Dodo Airlines in New Horizons.
Oh, so there's separate businesses too. There's not just like the retail shop or whatever else. There's an airline too, so you can.
I could list him again.
Oh no, that's what we've become.
Yeah, in the new game, there is an airline that flies you to your deserted island.
Oh,
Well,
We will also
yeah,
get to that.
Yeah, let's wait to talk a little bit more about New Horizons when we get there.
Yeah, that's a whole suitcase we got to get to. Before we get to the main event, though, let's talk about the spin-off games, because there are 3 of them.
oh no.
Number 1, Happy Home Designer. Came out in 2015. The whole point was to design homes for the villagers. They would be like, I want this, this, and this. And then you would design them a beautiful home. And it expands on the concept of outdoor furniture as well, which is a big concept in New Horizons. This game, as well as New Leaf, had compatibility with Amiibo cards, which is also just a whole thing. Amiibo cards, as well as little statues, each have either villagers or NPCs that you can load into the game. The next spin-off, easily the least popular game in the series, is Amiibo Festival for the Wii U, released in December of 2015. It's basically just Mario Party with Animal Crossing villagers, and that's it.
And that's it.
But the game stayed in spirit because it corresponded to the real-time month, so if it was December, then you could play like a little Christmas game, stuff like that. So that's kind of cute. And the last spin-off is Pocket Camp, which came out in 2017. It's a mobile app where players can design a campsite and later a cabin to invite your villagers to. Just like other games, you can fish, catch bugs, collect furniture, do happy home challenges. But because it is a mobile game, Nick, microtransactions totally become a thing.
Oh, no.
You can buy... Yeah,
No.
You can buy, with your actual money, Leaf tickets that will get you better stuff in this game.
Okay. Hey, they got to make a profit somehow, right?
You're right.
Why can't they
Okay.
make it off of the many games and merchandise that I bought you in preparation for the new game?
Alex did buy me a lot of merch.
Well, that's just not enough money. They need more.
Tom Nook is
you're
standing on
gonna
top
make
of
an
his
app,
bank.
The app has to have microtransactions. That's just how it goes these days.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
You can't make an app without
It's whatever.
microtransactions.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, it is the first Animal Crossing game that you can link your Twitter to like add friends and do things of that nature.
That's dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is.
That means you can add
Yeah.
Donald Trump, right?
Donald Trump.
If he had a Pocket Camp,
Donald Trump plays Pocket Camp. If you can't find him, that's on you, but he does. That's confirmed.
At real Donald Trump, hit him up.
I bet his camp is ugly as fuck.
So there's
All
a
right.
game that was like a home builder, right? And that was a spinoff. And
Right.
so that tells me there's some definite Sims vibes going on, right? Because you could build
Yes.
their Sims homes, right?
Definitely
There's
in
a
that one.
huge home building component.
and then
Yeah.
and then the other spinoff was a mobile game, which it happens, right? What do you think about that?
If it's a popular game, it'll probably get a mobile
I
spin-off.
think Nintendo went through like a big push there for like 4 months or so, where they're just pumping out mobile games.
You're right.
That's true.
They had
Mario
Mario Run around that time too.
They did.
I'm surprised that Mario Party isn't a mobile app yet.
It would be good.
Don't give them
mobile app.
ideas.
Give them that idea.
Nintendo,
specifically.
if you're listening, I would like it, but don't do it.
Instead of you paying coins in game to get a star, you pay $1.50 to get a star.
There you go.
In
For
real
just
money.
99 cents, we can have you cheat and get 20 stars
Affordable.
so that you can pretend
ruin
you were
your
better
friends'
at the
lives.
game.
Boo charges $20 to steal your friend's stars.
Damn.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're great.
As always.
Please do. All right, so let's get to the main event here, which is the new
Here we
game.
go.
Which we're going to
New
now talk about
Horizons.
for the remainder of the 40 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pumped.
It released on the Nintendo Switch on March 20th, 2020, which to me is now a national holiday. I don't know about you
That was
guys.
only 5 days ago. So keep that in mind.
It feels
Oh.
like a lot longer.
It's only
Especially
been
because of all the time travel people have been doing.
Yeah.
We're exposed.
you and I, we're not doing that.
Neither am I.
No,
So
none of us are time
Yeah,
traveling.
want to
Chloe and I-
clarify.
Chloe and I were there the day that it came out. We were at the Red Menace, the store to which I will not name.
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about.
Don't you dare say the name,
It's
please. We were there at 8 a.m. when the store opened. Went in, got our copies, went home, and immediately booted up. And we've been in sync since playing the game. And honestly, I think that's the way it should be done. I like the fact that almost everyone in the community is forced to stay because of, as she hinted at before, there's like a waiting period for some things to happen, like for things to get built or whatever, or there's only so many tasks that they'll give you in one day. And for that reason, if you got it on the day it came out, which some people got it early because the coronavirus did a bunch of weird stuff to GameStop, but if you got it on the day that it
Oh, you
officially
said it.
released... Sorry.
He wasn't talking about GameStop
Oh,
before.
okay. Damn it.
No, I wasn't, so... nah.
You win
But-
this round.
Yeah.
If you got it on the day it released, which was March 20th, and you've been keeping up with your daily tasks, everyone in the world playing Animal Crossing right now should be at the same point,
Right.
which is, I don't know how it is for you, but this morning Tom Nook announced that the resident tent was closing. Is that for you as well?
Yeah, I flipped out because that means Isabel's coming.
That's right. 2 days for everyone who is keeping up and not time traveling.
Right.
They're all on sync that Isabel should show up for everyone in 2 days, which I think is incredible. That everyone who is playing this game, which is a lot of people,
Yeah.
are
A
all
lot of people.
they're all on the same pattern.
Well, the thing that's
Wow.
really
Yeah.
cool is
Right
it
there.
turns the game into like a big social event that everyone
Right.
kind of bonds over.
Yeah.
You're
Kind of what the
100%
game's
right.
entirely about.
It's exactly that, and that's the beautiful thing about how they released it. And you know what? It's terrible to say. They couldn't have gotten luckier on the day that they released that game. Because that was just as everything was shutting down and everyone was getting locked in their houses for self-quarantine and for shelter in place like we have around our area.
You should share the little thought you had about how Animal Crossing quarantine is the antithesis of a certain other popular video game event.
Oh, yes, the tweet that I sent out.
Yes.
I tweeted either this morning or yesterday that Animal Crossing New Horizons has become the polar opposite of what Pokemon Go was.
Yeah.
Because
that's pretty
Pokemon
good.
Go was a game where everyone
That's
was
pretty good.
inside and they wanted to go outside to go catch animals.
That's right.
And now animals have trapped us inside for an undisclosed amount of time.
Bro.
And we are currently slaves to a raccoon.
Mind
A
So-
blown.
Tanuki raccoon.
Mind blown.
So Animal Crossing is the opposite of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's I did not know that no matter how much you know life the game, you're still on par with pretty much everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you go into your Switch settings and you say that it's April 2020 or 2021, and then you get things that you're not supposed to get, which, you know what? I'm going to say for the record, just in case any Animal Crossing players are on this podcast right now, I don't discriminate against people who time travel. I just don't personally do it because that's not how I like to play the game.
Well, it's cheating, right?
If you time travel and you've already got all the stores and you've already created like the 10,000 waterfalls that you wanted, that's great. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. That's just not how I want to do it. I want to earn it,
Cool. I will discriminate. I think you're trash people. I think you need to stop playing the game. I'm kidding.
But when you're doing that, you are
Log off.
you are opting out of that experience of everybody being on the exact same page at the exact same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame. Because it's
You
really
cheat
something
yourself.
incredible to behold,
Like I will say I felt really bad about yesterday. I did not get on because I was too busy with work.
Yeah.
And I now today have been wanting to hop on and make up for it so bad. And I'm so scared that Cherry is going to be mad at me for not saying
were
hi.
She'll understand. They always do.
Oh.
Yeah. You can always win them back.
Man, that's guilt tripping. Wow.
What do you mean you have real stuff to do? Why weren't you here?
Yeah.
I got busy
We're real.
playing Minecraft.
So I think
What is a Minecraft?
Oh boy.
we've nope. I think that we've gotten the point across that Chloe has played Animal Crossing. So Chloe, walk us through the experience of getting Animal Crossing, the preparation that you went into. Tell me everything out of game, everything that happened leading up to the moment that you started, and then take us from there as to how the game has developed for you.
Alex, I would be happy to.
Thank you.
So, New Horizons was announced in 2018, which now that I have it, feels like so long ago. But obviously when they announced it, I was over the moon because I'd had New Leaf for a while, and it's still a very special game, but I needed to scratch that Animal Crossing itch, and I knew that New Horizons would do that for me, but I had to wait a really long time. So, in the past 6 months that I knew that the game was approaching, I've been getting very excited, and I actually made an Animal Crossing Twitter account, like totally devoted to only talking about Animal Crossing, only posting like screenshots of my Pocket Camp account, and like talking to people and trying to like, get tips on how to get the game, especially because we were going into quarantine. I was like, are you guys going to like pre-order it? Are you going to pre-order it digitally so that you get it and play it at midnight? There was a lot of prep work that went into this. And there's also a huge internet community for Animal Crossing. I've had the account for like a little over a month now, and I already have 800 followers, which is nearly what I have on my main account.
That's impressive.
Just of people who want to talk about Animal Crossing,
Wow.
and that's it.
Very niche community I've never heard of.
How long have you had your main Twitter account, just so that I have the comparison?
Since 2011.
So she has gained as many followers on her Animal Crossing account in a month that she has in 9 years
Yep.
Wow.
on her regular. So that just goes to show how many people are looking for this, and how wide of a net Animal Crossing covers,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
fanatics out there for sure. It sounds like you're one of them too. So it's not a bad thing.
I have heavily considered doing an Isabelle cosplay, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
Okay.
please do it. Please.
That'd be pretty cute.
Isabel's a character, right? Okay.
Yeah, she's
Isabelle
the yellow
is
dog that's the town secretary.
character.
The character, right? Besides
She's
the
my
player.
favorite, certainly. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like she's the dog character, for the only non like quote unquote human character that made it into Smash.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's how heavy her following is. But
Yeah.
so 2 years pass. You have this Twitter.
Mhm.
You gain 800 followers. You're all talking about it every day. You're in a group chat. I know that.
I am.
That talks about Animal Crossing all the time.
Mhm.
What else happens?
Well, we all talked about strategically what we were going to do when the game came out and how we were going to get the game. Also, a week before the game came out, on March 13th, they released a limited edition Animal Crossing Switch that I got. I was also in line at the Big Red Menace and got one myself, as well as the limited edition case.
I think that this is super interesting, and the reason is the way that you got it's very cool, but there were pre-orders at the Red Menace as well as GameStop. It was maybe a month before it released. Everywhere was sold out. Everyone was asking for it. The place that I work, which is the Red Menace, was getting calls about it months before, asking if we were going to get them in. We didn't know. Asking if, like, we would put things on hold for them or if we were doing pre-orders.
I was on 3 separate GameStop calling lists. I went into GameStop and I said, if you get a limited edition console, you need to call me and let me know because I will be there when you open and I will buy it.
Did any of them call you?
So they wrote down my name and number. No, they didn't. Because they didn't get any, or they sold them first come, first serve, or they shut down their lobbies.
Right. So I work the Red Menace, and I find out that we have 20 of these Animal Crossing Switches in our system, which you think would be backdoor inside trading, except I was getting calls every single day from girls saying that they saw our stock online and knew that we got 20 in. And I still have no idea how they did it.
You didn't get a call from a single male asking about the console?
No. Not a single male called and asked about it, which is ridiculous because I wish I had one.
But the Nintendo guy, I don't want to say his Japanese name because I kind of get them mixed up. I'm so sorry.
Fair enough.
I'm so sorry. But he has been quoted as saying that the Animal Crossing community is primarily women.
Okay.
And I have met plenty of male players, including Alex Michael and people in my Twitter community. They exist, but it is, I think he said it was like 56 to 60% female.
Yeah, I can just see that based off the color palette choice that they have in the game. It's very pastel, you know? That screams to me.
It is. It's very cutesy.
Female and cutesy and...
Yeah, the other thing I think that leads to that, though, is that it's such an accessible game that it opens the doors for a lot of people who traditionally wouldn't play video games.
That's a great point.
And it offers something completely different, which is just
there's a story I read recently of an older woman who started playing Animal Crossing because all of her kids moved away too far to visit her. Mm-hmm. And she logged, I think, 3,500.
That's still a lot of hours.
And they named a character after her. She was a woman in like her 60s, 70s who never picked up a video game in her life and was just looking for company. And this was her outlet.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's what the game
does. And now
does.
she has a little wolf named after her in New Horizons, and she's so cute.
Now, I'd go out
the
on
game
a limb
developers
here
gave that to her
and say that this is the only game that can do that. Do you know of any other game that can do that? I don't think so.
Not
Other
really,
than
no.
like Minesweep?
Minecraft?
No,
maybe not.
No, we're not doing an episode on that.
Okay. I mean, you can't think of another game that brings so many people from such a wide range of ages together like Animal Crossing.
Ironically, I can think of one, and it was Pokemon Go.
All right. I can see that too.
Weirdly enough, on community days, you would go out and people would all gather up, and the first people to show up, at least where I play, were like women in their 60s.
Yeah.
They would come and be like, you have a Charizard? And I'm like, yeah. And it was awesome because they walked up. You're not expecting them to come play Pokemon, but that's another one of the games, which is weird and puts them in this like niche little pocket.
Yeah.
But they're opposites.
Yeah, Call of Duty can't do that because it's this toxic, all-male fighting game, a war game, that doesn't have that universal appeal. So, I mean, this game is really remarkable to me, just learning about it, in the past 30 minutes, but I'm already on board. I mean, I want to go outside and buy a Switch. Well, I can't, but as soon as the quarantine's lifted...
You can order one.
Well, I would not recommend it right now. We just had to order one for my girlfriend, Jade, so that she could play with us.
See, that's another incredible thing, and I was hoping that we'd get to this, because after Chloe got the stuffed animals, and Chloe got the socks and the Switch case and the limited edition Switch, we finally came to the day where, sorry that there are dogs barking in the background, this is what happens when you do a podcast at home. But there came the day that the game finally released. New Horizons finally released. And we went and we got it. And the next day I was back at work. Well, I was back at work that day, but the next day when I came back to work, they told me that we had 150 physical copies of the game, all sold out. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And they were like, that's not it. We had like 58 Switches that we've had since Christmas that weren't selling. We completely sold out. Mm-hmm. And to this day, today, we have people coming into the Red Menace where I work and asking for Switches. And it's just because they want to play Animal Crossing now.
Yep.
This game has reached such a wide variety of people, and it's so popular right now that people are looking for it. The Switch's popularity has like gone through the roof to the point where Nintendo Online, I think maybe the day before Animal Crossing came out, or maybe 2 days before Animal Crossing came out, because all these people were getting the game early, because GameStop was shutting down and not allowing people to come get their pre-orders. Nintendo Online crashed because of the number of people who wanted to play this game.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That takes a lot of people to do, because servers are so redundant nowadays that you have to have millions and millions and millions of people all at the same time, almost like a dedicated denial of service attack, almost, except these are actual people. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was a ton of people who just wanted to play the game and have something to keep their mind off of what was going on around here. And that's why I think that Animal Crossing couldn't have had better timing as to when it was released. It was released right as the coronavirus kind of hit, and everyone was scared that they were going to be stuck inside. People were buying toilet paper in bulk, hand sanitizer in bulk, canned food in bulk, and buying Animal Crossing. That's what they wanted.
It's an essential.
That was what was essential to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was essential to me.
I mean, like,
that's all I've been doing.
At my work, everything is still full except for toilet paper, hand sanitizer, the puzzle section in the toy section is completely cleared for the first time since I've worked there. Puzzles are gone. I know you hate puzzles.
Yep.
My girlfriend Chloe hates puzzles.
I hate puzzles.
By the way,
too.
that's my girlfriend.
I hate puzzles too. It's okay.
Thank you, Nick.
BioShock.
They're dumb.
I'll say it. I'm sorry.
But she hates puzzles.
Circle it back.
But they were completely sold out, and the Switches were completely sold out. Mm-hmm. We sold out of the digital download cards of Animal Crossing. It blows my mind how many people came out to buy this game, and how many people they're like, stay inside, don't come outside for whatever reason. You might get this virus that's super serious, and they were leaving their houses anyway to go get Animal Crossing and masks and gloves. They were going to get it because they felt they needed it.
Wow.
Well, it's been like the perfect thing for this time, because it's providing that social interaction that a lot of people can't get right now, which is like, it's so important, not only for like just like each person just having an entertaining time at home, but also for like mental health. Like, it scratches that itch for me. Even though like I'm a super introvert, it's just enough, and like I can control exactly how much interaction I get through the game.
Right.
Not to mention that just in a time like this where it's panic and everyone's fighting each other for basic essentials, it's nice to just go to an island where everyone just wants to say hello.
Yeah.
You can walk next door to your neighbor's house and have a civil conversation face to face. You don't have to wear a mask. You can just talk.
Well, I choose to wear the mask.
Right. It's nice for introverts who maybe don't want to go outside and make all the effort to see their friends. They can just hop on and go to their island and talk in the chat. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a way that you can still feel connected to your friends, but not have to actually go anywhere and see anybody in real life.
You don't have to put on
you
pants.
have wonderful... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can play pantsless. I encourage it.
I'm wearing shorts right now.
And if you have wonderful and sweet friends like I do, like Alex and Chloe here, sometimes friends will send you messages that you just like wake up to and see in your mailbox, and it's the sweetest thing ever.
There is an in-game postal service where I can send a letter to Michael, and next time Michael gets on the game and walks out of his house, there's a little icon that pops up, and his little mailbox flag goes up, and he has to go check his mail and see that he got a letter from me.
Huh.
Also, you should absolutely write letters to your villagers, because they will reply and send you gifts.
Aww.
I write very detailed letters to my villagers because I love them.
It's part of the immersion. If you're not willing to go all the way in and just role play into it, kind of like D&D, like we talked about last night.
Here we go.
Or last week. You just have to fully immerse yourself into it. You just have to throw yourself in, and you might feel stupid writing a letter that's super detailed to a computer that probably won't understand what you're saying and will write you back something that's maybe not totally related, but it's this human need to put meaning to what you're doing that makes this game so important and so special.
Right. And as you said before, there's no real end goal. There's no final boss to this game. You just kind of go about your day on an island and interact socially with people. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, there is a final goal.
Okay.
I think, personally. But it's a lot more casual, a lot more sweet. And your final goal is to just build an island that your friends want to come to and hang out on.
Okay, yeah. That's a goal.
At a certain point, you've unlocked everything. You've built this island that has every detail on it that you think your friends would enjoy. Something that I really like. After a hard day of working for Tom Nook and unlocking all of this weird stuff and earning bells and so on, Chloe, myself, and our friend Austin, who you guys know, we all got on the same server and we played hide and seek like children. We played hide and seek in the museum, and it was fun.
It was so fun.
And that's not something. I didn't get online last night.
Well,
we can still do it.
We can do it tonight after the podcast. Why not? If we want, you know. But that's not even something that the game developers planned. They didn't plan for people to invent hide and seek in this game. But even in like the online discourse, like there are people inviting random strangers to their island to come play hide and seek. That's the world we live in. It's not as scary as it is right now.
There's not like a de facto mini game in it. It's just something you can do.
No,
it's just something that they made up and now they do.
Okay,
and I think that's great.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's how
I would
open
love
this game is.
to kind of go beat by beat what happens when you start up the game, like I did for the GameCube version.
Yeah.
Just in case there are people listening that would like to know and haven't already played New Horizons.
So, spoiler alert for New Horizons.
Yeah, skip ahead if you don't want to hear this.
Skip ahead. You'll know when to stop.
Yeah, I'll scream really loud and clip the mic.
There you
Great.
go.
So, the game begins with you choosing to do the Nook Getaway package. So, you're going to start a new life on a deserted island, and Tom Nook it's argued whether they're his nephews or if he just, like, adopted these two little twin raccoons. I think they're his nephews, but, you know, you can decide for yourself. Their names are Timmy and Tommy, and they help you decide to live your new life on a deserted island. They help you, they give you, like, just in, like, a New Leaf, they give you 4 different island layouts that you can choose between how you want your island to look, whether the river dumps out on the east or the west side, you know, how it cuts off your island, which is kind of a big decision in the beginning because you don't have any bridges and you can only access like a third of your island in the beginning. So you choose the layout and it shows you on the Dodo Airlines flight going to your island. And when you get off, you're greeted by Tom Nook and you're with 2 other villagers. You get 2 to start with. And everybody got either one uchi villager, which is like a certain kind of, it's a Japanese word that like, it's like a offset of normal, I guess. They're basically just like sweet and nice to you, and sisterly is how it's described. But you get 1 uchi and 1 jock villager. I personally got Sherry the monkey and Scoot the duck. Adorable. So you get off the plane, and you and the 2 villagers are greeted by Tom Nook, and he leads you into the town plaza and kind of just, you know, gives you a tent, and you can decide where to go set up your tent, which is eventually where your house is once you have a house. And the first thing that I noticed, honestly, booting up the game was how detailed the weather patterns are. Because there was some of that in New Leaf, like you could have rainy days or sunny days, but in New Horizons, I've seen thunderstorms, I've seen sunny days with like a little bit of rain, I've seen like really nice days. I think there can be like just kind of overcast days where it's not raining, but it's just kind of darker. The sunsets are in like real time, sunrises are in real time. It's so gorgeous. And the flora and fauna are more realistic than ever, especially like the fish and stuff. When you pull a fish out of a river, it looks like what it would look like in real life. And you can open up what's called the Critterpedia, which is basically like, sounds
like
an encyclopedia
like a Pokédex,
for
right?
your critters. Yeah.
Throw it back to Pokemon.
So you'll catch like a real animal, and then you can pull up a real picture of it. And if you go and donate it to the museum owl, whose name is Blathers, will tell you real facts about it. And like, I've learned a lot about like fish and dinosaurs just from going and donating to the museum. So that's super wholesome.
So that's something you can learn about actual fish that come out of a river, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I caught this fish called the coelacanth, and when I took it to the museum, Blathers said that this fish had been around since the time of the dinosaurs, and when they discovered living specimens, they were floored because they thought it was like a prehistoric creature, and it still exists. So that's cool as hell.
Yeah, you can learn stuff. I love games that teach you something.
Yeah,
Even
me
if
too.
it's silly like fish. That's a really cool little cocktail party factoid.
Well, it does it with
true.
not just the fish, but also the bugs that you donate and the dinosaurs that you donate, the fossils. It'll tell you something about all of them.
Fun facts.
You'll learn about the dinosaurs and the bugs that you catch. And I don't know the exact number, but there are like at least
Hundreds.
100 of each, at
Yeah.
least, 100 different examples that you get
Right.
to learn about.
One of my favorite moments was I donated a fossil from a massive prehistoric bird, and, Blathers is an owl, and he said the bird's wingspan was like over 10 feet, but sometimes the bird would walk around on all fours, like it would use its wings as arms. And he was like, to have that kind of wingspan and walk around on all fours, they say you should never meet your heroes. I was like, you cutie. So adorable.
This game is
that, like, he has an innate fear of bugs. So every time
he hates bugs.
And so every time you donate a bug, he's just like, oh, gross, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you facts about this if you insist.
I actually donated a butterfly today, and I was like, I'll hear the facts about the butterfly. He can't hate this butterfly. And he's like, they are beautiful, beautifully dangerous because they're poisonous, and when birds eat them, they die. Oof. And he's an owl. So he's like, so you could see why I'd be a little upset. And I think that's hilarious.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But this is like the museum is one of the prime examples of just how much love is put into developing this game. It's not just some game that they shit out. This is something that they put their entire heart and soul into.
Yeah, no doubt. Some of the features that are new is you couldn't craft anything, like you couldn't craft furniture except for in Pocket Camp. In New Leaf, Cyrus could like change the colors and stuff, but until this game, you couldn't craft it yourself. And a big like proportion of the game is you have like a crafting bench. Sorry, I have bronchitis. You have a crafting bench, and you get the materials, and you craft your own furniture. So you have to like grind and go find the stuff if you want that certain furniture. Another thing that's new is you get a vaulting pole, and you can like stick it into rivers and like launch yourself over them, which is what you do before you build a bridge to get to the rest of your island. That's new. A new like concept for the game is called the Nook phone, like Tom Nook. It's like you have little apps on there that you can register like your best friends, and that's where your Critterpedia is. And there's like a system called Nook Miles, where once you achieve certain things, he'll give you miles that you can trade in for stuff. That's like there's like all these new mechanics in the game that have never been explored before. Another thing is you can choose your hemisphere to decide what seasons you experience. So, like, I could have chosen the Southern Hemisphere, and I could be living through fall right now, if that's what I really wanted to do. And you can terraform, so you're basically God now. Eventually, you get the ability to, like, change your land and create waterfalls and create, like, dirt paths and basically, like, completely terraform your island and change the layout.
That's
pretty cool.
What was the evolution that they brought up at some point?
So it went from villager, like in the first game, to mayor in New Leaf, to god in New Horizons. You're literally a god.
That's cool.
Yeah. And the last one that I think everybody will kind of enjoy, just a little tidbit for you. You could always like eat the fruit that you grow on your trees, but in this game, you can eat the fruit, and the more you eat, the more energy you have. But also, there's a toilet in the game, and if you eat fruit and you sit down on the toilet, you can take a poop.
They added a shitting mechanic. That's incredible.
Yep.
That's great.
That's legendary.
And that takes care of that. And it'll go like out of your like fruit inventory.
Oh my god.
Like you pooped it out.
Incredible.
That's great.
I don't know why they did it. I'd love to hear their comments on why they decided to add a pooping mechanic, but it's there.
I love it.
They did that.
Yeah, I want the game.
Yeah, we know
more.
you love it, Nick. We've all seen your illustrating Instagram.
My what? What did I do?
Your illustration Instagram.
I like to poop.
You love poop jokes. You do.
Poop, toilet humor, it's universally funny, whether you're 1 or 100, you know?
That's true. I've seen 1-year-olds laugh at it and 100-year-olds laugh at it.
Yeah.
Not much in between.
No,
both
but
while
definitely
pooping their
those
pants.
two. Yep.
That's great. I want the game.
And this game, more than any other game, has been very driven on playing locally or playing online to get your friends into it and get your friends to your island. A lot of the commercials were showing like you can have up to 8 people on your island, so it would show like 8 little villagers all running around with their nets and showing off their fish and sending each other letters. Like the social aspect has never been more prominent than this game.
Multiplayer.
And I personally have been on an island where like 5 or 6 people were also there, all running around.
That was like one of the first things that we did.
Yeah. Because of my Twitter group. Like,
Right.
I just had those friends at the ready to come visit me.
So I guess to kind of put a neat little red bow on this white box of a gift that you've given us in talking about Animal Crossing, which was a reference, thank you. What does Animal Crossing like mean to you? What ties you to this game and keeps you coming back for more, and like makes you buy all of this stuff and show your fandom for it?
Yeah, why are you a fanatic?
Well, I personally am a big fan of things that are wholesome, and I would say this game is very, very high on the wholesome scale. It is very cute and kind of like a peaceful, like achievement-driven game. Like I don't ever feel like pressured to do anything. I can do everything on my own time. There's nothing like violent or sadistic about the game. It's all very sweet and nice. But a good like specific example, I showed Alex this earlier, but I have a villager in my town. Her name is Vesta, and she's a sheep. She's very sweet. And today she asked me, she said, imagine this. You are at home and you're relaxing and you're drinking a kind of tea. What tea is it? And she gave me 3 different options, and it was like chai, oolong, and green. And there was no context to it. So I chose green tea. And she said, usually green tea means that your friends rely on you very heavily and maybe you're going through a tough time. And then she said this, I care about you a lot. So if it's true that you're having a hard time, know that I'm here for you.
Damn.
And I just like, I got like teared up because this like creature made of code in my console just told me that they cared about me and like cared that I was going through a tough time. And if you don't have people in your life that say that to you, and that's like your only link to kindness and empathy, like that would just mean the world, you know? And I've been in those spots, especially when I was playing New Leaf, where like getting a letter from a villager would maybe be the only, you know, kind time that a friend would reach out to me. So it's just meant a lot because they take the time to make the game so empathetic and so sweet and kind, and they put so much love and care into it.
Yeah, it's like condensed goodness.
This isn't a game about winning. It's a game about friends.
Yeah.
Friendship is magic. Like I said before.
It is magic. I love that show.
Are we going to do a My Little Pony episode? Please tell me we're going to do that soon.
I could
if
also
you're
host
hosting
that
it,
I'm not hosting
Nick,
it. Nope.
Nick has to host it.
No, I am not. I know nothing about My Little Pony.
All right, well,
Force you
that
to do
takes
the
us to the...
research.
that takes us to the 1 hour mark, which means it's time for the Quick This. This week hosted by Michael. Before I say anything else, next week is supposed to be my episode to host. I have something awesome planned, but it does throw off our rotation of who does Quick This and who hosts the show. So for that reason, Chloe, would you mind coming back next week to do the Quick This for us?
I would love to.
Great. So it's just, you get 5 minutes to either rant about something you're angry about or yell about something you're passionate about. It's whatever you want it to be, but it's kind of like a version of the show that only takes 5 minutes.
Can do, Nancy Drew.
All right. So I want to talk about a book called The Way of Kings. It is part 1 of a trilogy, I believe, written by Brandon Sanderson. And it is this wonderful, wonderful high fantasy book series that it just captured my heart. It is the story about this world where you have these people who are, it's like, it has its own like cool magic system. It has a lot of like well-built history. So essentially the world is this place where there's this reoccurring apocalyptic event called the Desolation. And like thousands of years ago, from the point where we hop into the story, they believe that like the last known one happened. It was this story of these people called the Knights Radiant. These people who had like glowing armor, glowing hair, glowing eyes, glowing weapons, that they would fight against these like dark beings. And then eventually that faded into legend. But there's still artifacts around, so people can still use their armor and their weapons and do that in battle, and those have become like these the highest valued things throughout the land, where even the like highest nobles will only have like some armor or a sword, and it's that valuable where they will trade like their life for a weapon. And then with that, with the whole idea of this Knights Radiant, these people with glowing eyes and glowing hair, that has actually helped shape their entire social structure to this point. Where now it's this divide between people with light eyes or bright eyes and dark eyes, where the people with the bright eyes are nobles. Only people with bright eyes can be nobles, because it harkens back to this myth. And then along with that, you have this really awesome magical system based upon these gemstones that hold light, called Stormlight, where the only way that these can be recharged is through a high storm, which will come through and sweep through the entire land. Then everything in this world is kind of built upon that, where it's you have these people, only certain people can harness this magic, and they're these crazy people, crazy powerful people that harken back to the myth and the legend. And then crazy wild shenanigans ensue. There's just such good characters. It follows a similar plot line to kind of like what Game of Thrones does, where it does everything from different perspectives. So you get to see a lot of the world through different eyes. And along with all this, I would really recommend the audiobook on Audible. That's how I experienced it. And,
Audible, please sponsor us.
And it's awesome. They're
sponsoring everyone else. They might as well.
True.
There you go.
Might as well.
You're right.
But they have like multiple voice actors in there to voice act like Kaladin or Dalinar or all these different main characters, and they go above and beyond to make it such a believable story. And I cannot recommend this book series enough. It is one that you can easily dive into and come out the other end reading 500-600 pages, not realizing where the time went.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Could
Do you identify with any of the characters from the book?
It's hard because they all go through very relatable character arcs. I'd say if there's one that I definitely feel a lot more like would be Shallan. She's this small noble girl who experiences some very traumatic shit. And along with that, her naivety to the world, it is very endearing, and I have felt exactly the same way that she does in a lot of the book.
That is your 5 minutes exactly.
All right.
Damn,
To the second. Very well done.
nailed it.
Thank you.
I was wondering if that is the book that could get me back into reading, because I haven't read a book since probably
high school.
Yeah, probably high school, to be honest.
Wow.
I was supposed to read some books in college. I just didn't. So
if you have any interest in fantasy, this would be the first fantasy book I would recommend diving into.
All right. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Who knows?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, guys,
drop that title and author into the description, will you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Podcast.
Just,
go ahead and say it one more time.
Just to reiterate, it is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson.
Nice plug.
Very cool.
Good plug.
Guys, that was our first episode in quarantine of Entertain This.
It was weird.
It went pretty well.
It was weird.
It was weird, and it's probably going to be weird, but I'm glad to do it. And next week we're back. I'm going to take us on a little adventure into the world of AR, which is a growing media that has been sweeping the world. It's one that doesn't exactly involve itself in technology too often, but is slowly branching into it. I'm pretty excited to talk about it.
Awesome.
So
it's an emerging
join us
technology.
next week for that. Chloe, you got Quick This next week, so you thinking about that?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
Or for listening, even, because we're not doing videos
you
yet.
Did it
but
again.
we will.
You did the...
I'm sorry.
Thanks so much for watching. Hit that bell.
There's that bell, and I'm so sorry I did that.
Comment down below if you're tired of hearing Alex say watching when this is a podcast.
Nick, play that outro. This episode of Entertain This was guest produced by Chloe Price, with commentary from Nick Mustakangas, Alex Steele, and Michael Savoya. Our theme music is Rush Bubble by Aaron Spencer. We don't plan on slowing down production of our podcast during this hard time. We want to be here for people who may need an escape, so we'll be back next Friday with a new episode. Thanks for listening.